Good afternoon. Oh, good noon. Namaste. I'll speak in English as here some friend of mine are Nepali, some are Hindi, and some I think everybody want to listen in English, so it will be in English. Okay, Nepali, Hindi, and English. Sorry, I have no idea how to wear this. It means I don't have a speaking like this. I do speak in television, and I do interview, and I do speak in some of guest lecture like that. Okay, anyway, I'm confused from where to start. Let's take a point. I'd like to start from one meeting. Was around, I think, 1 year ago. Some people from Infrastructure University, Malaysia, was here in Kathmandu. The Vice Chancellor, Deputy Vice Chancellor, and some team were here. And some of my friends asked, how could you dare to establish a business television in Nepal, even though the size of business is very small, and the advertising habit is also small, and the size of advertisement is also very small. It's quite risky. How did you start? They asked me the question, and I answered how, if you know my life, then you will no wonder what I did is. So I am from, so not far from Kathmandu, but a very remote area, so Dolakha district. So one of my far cousin brother is also here. In my area, I can say in my mother's delivery time, now I am straight, I can do anything. But so at delivery time, if I would have done like this also, my mother could not have sustained. Both would have died. Because hospital was so far, we had to go at least 1 to 2 hours to get paracetamol. And if in case of operation it was not possible, unless we walk or 4 to 5 hours. Even there was no road. We had to walk on hilly roads. If mistakenly, so there is a thing called dogo. So what is the English name? I don't know. I don't think either it has an English name. It's a basket carried behind. Okay, there people used to carry passage and walk in a hilly region. Okay, so this is quite slopey. Say it's around 70 degrees slope, 70 to 80 degrees. And if the person who carries the patient mistakenly slept, no chance of surviving. Or we go on to 5-10 kilometers down to the river. So I don't wonder if I take any risk. I start everything from taking risks. My family is a low medium class family with a very, we can say, big attitude problem. As Indian and Nepalese same problem, they have a Brahmin, they don't walk to others. Yeah, there is prestige. I don't know what this prestige means, but we have that prestige. So that doesn't allow to walk to others. Yes, my family is Brahmin, and to pay others, we should have money. That is also we don't have. So what to do? We to work in our. Yeah, my family used to work in our. We say in our land, in our field, but. So there was some sort of system called PORMA, means exchange of labor. Sometimes we work to you and you come to work to us, but not for money, but just for exchange the labor. So have it like that. So we had massive problems. Financially that it was a problem, but in terms of health and in terms of risks, it was very problem. So while going to school also, there was a risk of having encounter with tigers. Okay. So while our home to school, it was around 3 kilometers far, but it's a hilly area, so it was quite difficult, and there was risk of encountering with tigers. If encounter once, it depends on the tiger's mood. Okay, if he thought it's a good, catch it, gone. If he thought let it him go, no problem. So it was like that. So I replied to my friends, the guy who came from that background, don't think any risk will be, we can say, happier than that. So I took risk. So why did I start this incident? Is if you don't take risk, you must be fatalist, you can say. So you depend on your luck while going like in casino. You do it luck and you lose everything, so lots of things. Maybe you may win, but chances of winning is, you can say 50 in possibility, which means 0. Okay, after 5 class, there was no secondary level, and I went to the another school, and it was around 3 kilometers far. There I told there was a possibility of encountering tigers. Even though, so we used to have habit that sometimes tiger would come to our house and they would work as a predator for our goat and other things. So we are not that much afraid, but if you are walking alone in the road and encounter with tiger, you can guess how it happens. So even though we got it, and after 8th class, so we are migrated to Sarlai district, which is a plain land, is a modest we call, it's the right hand. And after that, my thinking and other environment completely changed. What I used to think and what the society is was quite different. At that time, my education was quite disturbed. I was always first in terms of marking, but I was always second in school. Because if there is question, write around 75 districts of Nepal. I just write there are 75 districts in Nepal. These are diseases. No, I don't have habit of elaborating things. And my teacher always asks, you are only born for English, math and science. So like that. In English, math and science, no one could compete with me. And in other subjects, I was quite negligent, so I don't do lots of things. Even a 10 marks question, I just write. So how many types of animals are there? I just write there are this type of animal. All. So I couldn't get first. 1 or 2 times I got first, but I was always first in terms of my capacity, but I was always second in marks ranking. So after that we went to Tarai. And after 8th class, it was struggling to adjust. We call some Pahadi community and Madhesi community, their working pattern, speaking, dress up. I couldn't digest. We had a habit of saying tapai. So everybody used to say tapai with honor in 5 class. But there was everybody telling timi. So I couldn't digest that. So after that, after SLC, I decided to study science. It was not due to that after reading science I would be engineer, doctor, but I decided to choose science because it was difficult. So my family, others are even that much traditional that there was saying, it depends upon the marks. If first division, that is science, second division is management, and third division, so other subjects, there was a social perception. So I told my family, no, we cannot afford you to study science. Okay, after science, you tell us to be a doctor or engineer, we cannot afford, so you cannot do science. So my family denied. But what I told, at that time I thought, if I score good in ISC, so I could get anybody supporting me. I was believing, whether there were people who would be ready to support me or not, that was in the next phase. But I was believing that people will support me, my relatives or any whom, if I go and ask them, they will support me. I was thinking like that. It's like a bird. So we always say, so a bird in a branch of a tree sleeps well because it is not that the branch will not be broken. That he believes, or the bird believes that he can fly at any time. So like that, I was thinking, I could do something. After that, I completed my ISc. During ISc, I appeared to, there was a diploma engineering. So I appeared to the entrance. And after the last exam, so there was, I think, 5 papers, I think. So last exam paper, I thought, if I passed, I will study 3 years diploma engineering. After that, I have to go again, Bachelor of Engineering B. I thought I will write wrong. I willfully wrote the wrong answer and escaped from that. And then it came to the B entrance after I completed ISc. So one of my relative was a member of parliament, we call Samson. And in his home, one of the engineers came and told, please do something for me, I will get something like that. So I thought, I was trying to be an engineer to control the world or to be independent so that I could not do something to others. I found engineering doing something to, I think, namaste to Neta means it is not good. So I decided not to be engineer. So I joined BSc. And at that time I also started the journalism. Because I thought, so people from the low, or we can say, slum background can be approachable to any home, maybe minister or prime minister of any authority with media. There was a provision of being reporter, in a stingy reporter we call, so news-based payment. So I would get payment on the basis of news. How many news I collect and how many news especially be broadcasted. Otherwise I would not get paid. So I started, it's around I think 10 years before in Nepal television. And then my career began as a television journalist. I came to work, I started something new, I started new programs. In foreign employment we started Dainik Rozgar Samachar. In education sector we started Dainik Shaichik Samachar, which was completely new. That was not in practice. So whatever my belief is, so whatever I do new. I don't follow others. So I did new and I think I worked at around 8 televisions within 9 or 10 years. I thought it was time to be owner myself, because changing every year one television would not be framed in my Nepalese world, because there was no television left to work. Only 2 televisions were left to work. So I thought, let's start my own television, because there was the problem. Not just for me, but there was a problem. So the thinking process, attitude, and the belief was quite different within the television owners. They couldn't get the right issue which we raise. I thought, let's start. And I started surveying the market. I did go to different business houses and ask, is there a possibility of opening or sustaining business television? I think 95% of the people suggested me not to do that job, because the size of business is very small in Nepal. The major reason was that. And some people who don't have advertisement to give, just told it's good, because they didn't have to spend. Okay? So what I thought is, if they are telling the business size is small, I got it's a right time, a right point. Business TV will enlarge the business size. Then I determined to open the television. I must open television because the business size is small. Advertisement size is small, means there is plenty of spaces. See, almost all our BBA MBA students, you might have listened so sort of story about marketing. Okay, the 2 guys were sent in a rural area. Okay, to look the market of slipper. Okay, so we must have listened to that story. So one guy went and came. So there is not zero possibility of selling our product, because nobody wears slipper. They don't know slipper. And another guy came, sure, there is a maximum opportunity, it's a virgin market, nobody wears sleeper. It's a perception, how you perceive. And it's incident is same. The Bezos were not using sleeper. That was right. One guy came, there's no possibility because nobody wears sleeper. Another guy came, there's massive possibility. We just have to learn, teach them how to wear sleeper, then we don't need to promote. The thing is like that. I found opening a business television would start a new area. Then I started. So at this moment, in Nepal, there are around 16 satellite televisions and only 3 televisions are in profit, or we can say not in loss. Almost all are in loss. So among them, we are one of them. Okay. The reason behind is one of the thing is we do work in a we can say multi-task system in our television. So one people don't singly work a single job. You do like so even cameraman is one of my camera person is there. He can do he can run a system. He can do editing. He can do graphics and lots of things. So we are few, but it's a combined form of at least 4 manpower. It means if other televisions hire 100 staff, we can work by 25 staffs. That is how it's done. The next thing is, so we did started this television with around 30 to 40 million Nepalese rupees. Now it has crossed the value of our television is around 200 million. Science, simply you can say, is not just an invention, it's the questions you ask yourself in science. Science is lurking everywhere. Science is the fact of different stories, theories, you can say. But if that is controlled by conscience, that leads you, and if that is not controlled by conscience, that destroys you. Like Bin Laden. So Bin Laden, if you ask me, Bin Laden had the best technology, to destroy that Twin Towers. But his conscience was wrong, so that he did that. Science was right. According to science, if you strike now, even if you strike with a plane that cannot cross the Twin Tower, what happened in this history? That is quite amazing. Even science cannot find till now. Science haven't found the reason that plane struck to the Twin Tower and crossed. There is not possibility. If you now do another plane and strike there is not possibility of crossing that tower. How it impacts is a history. It's a mystery to the history. Next mystery. In this way, you can say Bin Laden has a good science, but conscience was wrong. Used in a means way. So everybody, you start off and you are trying to do something and you have energy to do. Basically, if you see now results, I think Thapa madam has already told, and she started the career with MBA and doing that, but I started from my birth. So, so you face the problem after MBA or while going to Switzerland or somewhere, but I faced the problem from the birth. That made me strong in conscience. I don't know whether I had science or not. So, what do I want to say to young entrepreneurs is, you don't see results. If you see results first, I think it makes you more, aware, but don't allow to do mistakes. And if you don't do mistakes, you don't learn. Like Jack Ma has told, so until 25 years, you have to do lots of mistakes. So intentionally you don't do mistake, but in your age, suppose below 30 in Nepalese context, if you see result first, yes, you should have a bright result. What is bright, you might not know. But if you think this is right for you, you do. Asking senior or asking experienced people always don't work. If Wright brothers would have asked to the seniors, can I make of iron or fly in the sky? Would they suggest to do that? Not possible. So, you are trying to do something and you are preaching some new ideas in market, means you have extra quality. You don't need to ask others. But the thing is, if that is already tried by others, you should know. Okay? Same mistakes shouldn't be repeated. So, from my life, what I can share you is, I born with a risk, I grown with a risk, and I'll die with a risk as well, I think. I'm always ready to take risk, because I think without risk, I don't feel comfortable. My wife always tell me, this month I think you don't have any risk, so you are looking lazy. Yeah. I intentionally take risks. So I'm carrying this mobile. So I think our friend Arif made it visible everywhere. So yeah, okay, this is my brand. So it's Nepsonic. So while putting the name of the brand, so what we call is, I thought to make it, the name would be local and comprehensive for global friends. What I thought is, so Nepsonic, this is the sound of Nepal. Sound of Nepal means, now Nepal is trying to build its own brand and trying to spread it to the globe. Let's see. I don't see the result. Whether it collapses, it's gone bankrupt, nobody. I didn't have carried even a penny money from home. So I most probably had carried around 100 rupees. I can pay back even I went to bankrupt, no problem. Okay? So I took a risk. And coming here, we are going aggressively, and as RF is taking risks of marketing as well. This is very good. So Nepsonic, you do look here, there's Nepsonic. So that's my brand. I started doing something. So I wanted to do something new in Nepal. So some people were telling me, why don't you take dealership of the popular brand? So I didn't want to be a trader. Taking others' brand would make me a trader who always greeds or always becomes stingy and who always calculates the profit only. If that brand is mine, so I would think is more widely, my horizon would be more wide. And another thing is, trading or taking dealership is like having some very stylish girlfriend. But one information you should have is, you should have knowledge whether the nonsense work you are doing is already done by others or not. Okay? At last time I would like to tell you one story, so it may be useful for you as well. So we have a story of, what do we call it, knife man we call Gorkhe. So he used to, it's an ex-army, he used to tell a story. And one day he was telling, I went to the jungle. Okay, what happened? I saw a lion sleeping in the road. And what did you do? Next ask. So, I put out my knife and I caught his leg. Then what do you do? So I caught it's a lion's hind leg. Then what did you do? Next hind leg. And then fourth leg. Then another fourth leg. So another guy asks, why didn't you cut the neck rather than cutting that fourth leg? And I said, so he'll tell you, that was already cut by others. The thing is, while you are taking risks or investing your time, you should know whether you are cutting the legs whose neck is already cut by others. You should know that. But do yourself, plan yourself. You are master of you. You are only the master of you. Even you are working in the company, even you are working in the system, but Your master is only you. Ask to this with conscience. Thank you very much.